The silence of space was broken by a small flicker of movement near the outer edge of the solar system. A sleek, silver alien ship drifted silently, scanning the blue planet below. The beings inside were tall, pale, with eyes like dark crystals, and minds sharper than any human could imagine. They had traveled across galaxies to study what they thought was a weak species, a primitive life form barely capable of survival. But as they focused on Earth, a strange feeling spread among them, a curiosity mixed with a hint of unease. From orbit, Earth looked fragile. Oceans swirled like liquid glass, cities glimmered under the sunlight, and clouds moved in slow, predictable patterns. The aliens expected chaos, disorder, and fear, but instead, they saw something else. Humans moved with purpose, energy, and a strange unpredictability. They argued, fought, and celebrated, but there was a rhythm to their chaos, an intelligence behind every decision. The aliens whispered to each other, puzzled. "This is unexpected," one said. The first signals came as small flashes in the sky. Satellites reported unusual disturbances. A solar flare? Maybe. But then lights moved too deliberately, patterns too perfect to be natural. Observers on Earth's surface caught glimpses of the silver streak in the night sky, and rumors spread like wildfire. No one knew exactly what it was, but for the first time in years, humanity looked up in awe and a little fear. Inside the alien ship, the commander narrowed his crystal eyes. "They see us," he said. His voice was calm, almost emotionless, but the others could feel the tension. This was not supposed to happen. Humans were not meant to notice them yet. They were observers, not participants. And now, something about these humans, something the aliens could not understand, made them hesitate. Back on Earth, small groups gathered in open fields, pointing at the sky. Phones and cameras recorded the unexplainable phenomenon. Social media exploded. Experts argued and denied, but deep down, every person felt the same chill, a sense that something enormous was approaching, something beyond comprehension. Some humans felt fear. Others felt excitement. A few, the most daring, felt challenge. Meanwhile, the aliens activated their instruments, sending subtle probes toward Earth. They expected to see panic, chaos, and surrender. Instead, they were met with coordination and strategy. Cities lit up in patterns, people moved as if anticipating the probe's arrival. It was not random. It was deliberate. One of the aliens tilted its head. "They know we are here," it said quietly. The words echoed in the command chamber. For the first time, the aliens were unsure. A human spacecraft, sleek and dark, emerged from the shadow of Earth's moon. It moved silently, deliberately, as though it had been waiting for this exact moment. The aliens froze. This was not protocol. No species had ever approached their kind so directly without fear. The ship sent a signal, a series of lights, patterns, and sounds that made the alien crew instinctively step back. They tried to decode it, but the message was layered, clever, and almost mocking. On Earth, people stared at the night sky, unaware of the specifics of the alien technology, but sensing a strange connection. The spacecraft did not carry weapons. There were no missiles, no explosions. Just presence. Confidence. A strange kind of power that was not physical, but something deeper, something the aliens could not quantify. The commander's tentacles, if one could call them that, tapped nervously on the console. "We must act," he said. But no one moved. Something about humans made hesitation contagious. Humans were dangerous in ways the aliens had never calculated. They were small, fragile, and yet capable of strategy, courage, and unpredictable action. Every simulation the aliens had run predicted defeat, surrender, or submission. But here, they were seeing the impossible, humans standing firm. Then the first real test came. A probe sent to scan the atmosphere was met with interference, strong, precise, and untraceable. The aliens tried again, adjusting coordinates, recalibrating sensors, but every attempt was countered. Not with force, but with intelligence. Humans had anticipated them in ways that no species before had ever done. The crew whispered among themselves. How? How could they know? Hours passed. Humans continued to observe, record, and react with startling precision. The alien commander leaned back, scanning the data streams. They had expected to study Earth for weeks, months, maybe even years, and now everything was changing in mere hours. A sense of urgency replaced curiosity. The aliens realized they were dealing not with simple creatures, but with something far more dangerous. Something unpredictable. And then it happened. One human ship moved directly toward the alien vessel, lights flashing in a pattern that made no logical sense. The aliens braced for attack. But no weapons fired. The ship stopped at a distance, hovering silently. Another signal. This one clearer. A warning? A message? Perhaps. But the meaning was elusive. The aliens tried to decode it, but the complexity of human thought was beyond their current understanding. For the first time, fear touched the alien crew. Humans, they realized, were not to be underestimated. Not brute strength, nor advanced technology alone, had made them formidable. It was something deeper: creativity, adaptability, courage, and an uncanny ability to predict and counter the unexpected. The commander finally spoke, voice low and tense. They are different. Too different. But even as he said it, a part of him admired it. There was something thrilling in encountering a species so unpredictable, so clever. The aliens had come to observe, to witness, to learn. And now they were learning a lesson they had not anticipated. Humanity was a force beyond expectation, and their arrogance might be the first mistake in a battle they did not yet understand. As the night on Earth deepened, humans on the ground watched the sky, unaware of the alien minds calculating every move. And somewhere between the stars, the aliens began to understand a terrifying truth. This planet, these humans, were unlike anything they had faced before. And for them, it might already be too late. The human ship hovered silently, a dark silhouette against the endless stars. Inside, pilots remained calm, hands steady on the controls, eyes fixed on the massive alien vessel before them. They had trained for this moment, not for battle, but for strategy. The aliens had assumed fear. They had assumed weakness. They had assumed surrender. They had assumed wrong. Inside the alien ship, confusion spread like wildfire. The commander's crystal eyes scanned the strange signals emanating from the human ship. Their technology was different, yes, but it was the humans themselves that unnerved the aliens. Each movement, each pulse, each decision was precise, deliberate, yet impossible to predict. The aliens whispered among themselves, trying to decode the human mind. Hours passed, and the messages grew more complex. Patterns overlapped, yet made sense in ways the aliens couldn't grasp. On Earth, civilians watched the night sky, unaware of the exact details, but sensing the intensity. News reports were filled with speculation. Unidentified spacecraft observed. Experts baffled. Governments issued calm statements, but privately, military leaders were already mobilizing, observing the human ship's actions. There was no panic. Just careful, calculated preparation. The first attempt at communication came through lights and sounds from the alien ship. They tried to convey peace, curiosity, even superiority. The humans responded, but not in words. Their ship flashed lights in complex sequences, patterns that seemed random at first, then revealed subtle warnings. The aliens analyzed, recalculated, and attempted a reply. But every time, humans adapted, countering in a way that felt personal. The alien commander narrowed his eyes. "They are mocking us," he whispered. But even his advisors hesitated. Was it mockery, or intelligence far beyond their own? The realization hit them slowly, painfully. These humans were not just reacting, they were thinking ahead, predicting, outmaneuvering. Suddenly, the human ship split into two smaller vessels, moving around the alien ship like shadows dancing in zero gravity. The aliens tried to follow, their sensors and targeting systems failing to keep pace. The humans weren't aggressive, yet every maneuver sent a clear message: We see you. We understand. And we are ready. The aliens initiated a probe strike, firing small drones to analyze the human vessels. The drones moved fast, silent, and deadly precise, or so they were designed to be. But one by one, the human ships anticipated their path. With small, controlled pulses of energy, the drones were disabled without destruction. The aliens blinked. Nothing in their history had prepared them for this. Hours turned into tense minutes. The humans seemed to vanish, slipping between planetary shadows, only to reappear at the most impossible angles. It was not luck. It was planning, coordination, intelligence. The aliens could feel their pride cracking, replaced by a new, unfamiliar emotion. Fear. Not blind panic, but careful, creeping fear. Inside the alien ship, debate raged. Should we attack? One suggested. We could destroy them before they adapt further. But another shook its head. Any attack now, they might be ready for it. Their strategy is advanced. We don't understand it. The commander's gaze returned to the view screen, watching the human vessels with a mixture of awe and anxiety. Back on Earth, a small team of scientists and military officers monitored the events in real time. They saw the human pilot's precision, the careful but bold maneuvers. They are teaching us something, one whispered. Not about the aliens, about ourselves. The truth was clear. Humans were unpredictable, courageous, and remarkably clever. A species that seemed fragile could, in the right circumstances, control the battlefield without firing a single shot. Then came the first real exchange. A probe darted toward the human ship, scanning aggressively. Lights flickered, and the probe emitted a pulse. The human vessel responded not with weapons, but with countersignals, disrupting the probe entirely. It didn't explode. It didn't break. It simply stopped functioning, powerless against intelligence alone. The aliens recoiled, unable to comprehend the elegance of this method. The human pilots communicated silently with each other, using subtle signals invisible to the aliens. Their minds were synchronized, movements calculated, yet fluid. They weren't just reacting, they were anticipating. Every choice the aliens made, every tactic deployed, was met with a counter that seemed almost impossible. And through it all, the humans never fired a weapon. The commander felt a chill in the air of the control room. His advisors spoke of retreat, recalibration, diplomacy. But even as he considered these options, he knew in his core, these humans were dangerous, not because of what they could destroy, but because of what they could create. Strategy, unity, innovation. The aliens had never faced a species that could turn chaos into advantage so effortlessly. A sudden flash on the human ship startled the aliens. A signal, complex, layered, filled with warnings, challenges, and calculations all at once. The alien crew scrambled, trying to decipher it. But every attempt fell short. They realized something profound. Humans did not just act. Humans understood. Humans predicted. And humans learned from every interaction instantly. For the first time in generations of observation, the aliens felt small. They had traveled across galaxies, conquered worlds, and faced countless civilizations. But none had prepared them for this. An opponent whose strength was invisible, whose weapons were intellect and unpredictability, and whose resolve was unshakable. The human ships slowly withdrew from direct confrontation, hovering near the edges of visibility, yet their presence was unmistakable. They were patient, waiting, observing, and controlling the encounter in ways the aliens could not anticipate. And somewhere deep in the alien commander's mind, a terrifying thought took hold. They had underestimated humans. Every calculation, every projection had failed. And soon, they might pay the price for it. As the night stretched on, Earth's surface remained calm. People looked up at the stars, unaware of the silent chess game unfolding above. But the aliens now understood a terrifying truth. Humanity was not only capable of survival, they were capable of control, of strategy, and of turning fear into power. And if the aliens believed they could simply leave, they were wrong. The humans were already learning from them, preparing, and watching every move. Somewhere in the silent expanse of space, the commander whispered, almost to himself, "These humans, we thought we were observing them. But perhaps, they are observing us." And in that moment, a cold realization settled over the alien crew. The humans were not just reacting. They were winning, before a single battle had truly begun. The silence between Earth and the alien ships was tense, but it was no longer empty. Human vessels had shifted from observation to action, moving with precision and purpose that startled the aliens. They didn't fire weapons, they didn't need to. Every maneuver, every signal, every calculated movement seemed to unsettle the aliens more than any attack ever could. Inside the alien command chamber, confusion ran high. The crew's instruments were buzzing non-stop, trying to track human ships that moved in ways physics barely explained. "How are they predicting our moves?" one officer hissed. The commander remained still, his crystal eyes narrowing. "They aren't predicting. They are controlling the situation," he said. A murmur ran through the crew, an emotion they had rarely felt. Fear. Real, undeniable fear. The humans didn't rush. They didn't attack blindly. Instead, they used patience, understanding, and observation. The human pilots had calculated the aliens' reactions from the moment the ships appeared in orbit. They had studied their technology, their response patterns, their hesitation. And now, they were exploiting it. A small squadron of human ships moved silently to block the aliens' escape route toward Mars. The aliens noticed too late. The humans anticipated their evasive maneuvers and cut them off before they could react. It was not brute force. It was careful calculation. Every alien attempt to counter was met with something unexpected, a subtle twist that demonstrated humans' adaptability. On the alien ship, instruments beeped frantically. Probes meant to scan human technology were intercepted and neutralized without harm. Energy pulses that should have caused explosions were absorbed, redirected, or simply nullified. The aliens realized they were being outsmarted, not outgunned. And the realization terrified them. Meanwhile, humans on Earth watched live feeds, coordinating silently with each other, adapting every decision in real time. They were united by purpose and strategy, moving as one without the chaos the aliens expected. The aliens had assumed humans were weak, disorganized, and primitive, but they were learning the hard truth. Humans thrived in unpredictability, using their creativity to turn disadvantage into advantage. Suddenly, one human ship surged forward in a bold move, seemingly reckless. The aliens prepared for attack, ready to unleash energy beams they had relied on for centuries. But nothing happened. The human ship paused at a precise distance, sending a signal, complex, layered, and impossible to decode quickly. The alien sensors went haywire, systems overloaded by the patterns, and the crew scrambled to respond. "Impossible," muttered one officer. "We can't track it. We can't predict it." The commander's eyes glimmered with unease. Humans were not just responding, they were controlling the flow of events. Every alien tactic was anticipated. Every probe countered. Every movement turned against them, not with violence, but with intelligence. Then came the first tangible human advantage. A small group of human ships launched coordinated microprojectiles at critical points of the alien vessel. Not enough to destroy, but enough to disable key sensors and systems. The aliens struggled to recalibrate, realizing that humans had chosen targets with surgical precision. It was not random luck. It was strategy pure and simple. Inside the alien command chamber, tension was palpable. "They are studying us," whispered an officer, his voice trembling. "Studying and learning in real time." The commander didn't respond immediately. He observed the humans' movements, noting their precision, patience, and calm. "We are no longer observers," he said finally. "We are being tested, and failing." The human ships didn't celebrate. They didn't overextend. They remained calm, moving in patterns that seemed almost effortless, yet contained hidden complexity. Every choice the aliens made was anticipated, countered, or nullified. For the first time in millennia of exploration, the aliens felt outmatched. Not in strength, but in intellect, in cunning, in the ability to predict and adapt faster than any machine could calculate. On Earth, humans watched the results unfold in real time. They had expected resistance, had prepared for counterattacks, and yet even they were impressed by their own timing and coordination. Their strategy relied not on weapons alone, but on understanding the enemy, predicting reactions, and turning every move into an advantage. This was intelligence in action, raw and untamed. The alien commander realized a frightening truth: humans were not just unpredictable, they were unstoppable when they worked together. Their strength was not in technology or firepower alone, but in unity, creativity, and fearlessness. Every decision made by the humans seemed to anticipate what the aliens would think next, a step ahead in a game the aliens didn't even know they were playing. And then, without warning, the humans enacted the most daring move yet. A ship darted close to the alien vessel, lights flashing in rapid sequences, signals layered and complex. The alien crew panicked, trying to shield systems and prepare defenses. But it was too late. The human ship released a controlled EMP pulse, targeting critical energy conduits without harming the crew. Systems flickered and alarms screamed. The aliens had never faced precision like this, a strike that caused chaos without destruction. The commander's voice was low and steady, but heavy with tension. "They are unlike any species we have encountered." Officers nodded silently, some trembling. Humans had demonstrated patience, precision, intelligence, and boldness. The aliens realized they had underestimated Earth, underestimated humans' capacity to think, adapt, and act with terrifying speed and accuracy. As the night wore on, the human ships withdrew slightly, leaving the aliens shaken but intact. It was not a retreat, it was strategy. They had proved their strength without overextending, without revealing their full potential. The aliens were left to wonder, what was the next move? How far would humans go? And most importantly, how much had they already learned? On Earth, the sky remained calm. Civilians watched with awe, unaware of the invisible battle raging above. And in the silence of space, the aliens faced a new and frightening reality. Humans were not just clever, not just adaptable, they were unpredictable, unstoppable, and perhaps the most dangerous force in the galaxy. The commander leaned forward, crystal eyes fixed on the fading human vessels. "We came to observe," he whispered. "But we are the ones being observed. And if we are not careful, we may already be outmatched." The alien ship drifted silently in space, systems flickering from the precision strikes of the humans. The commander's crystal eyes scanned the readouts, each one worse than the last. Their calculations had failed, predictions had crumbled, and the humans seemed always one step ahead. The crew muttered nervously, unsure how to proceed. They had never faced such a species, clever, coordinated, and fearless. From orbit, the humans moved with calm confidence. Their ships glided through space like shadows, avoiding direct confrontation, yet controlling every encounter. And now, it was time for the next phase, a move so precise, so unexpected, that it could shake the aliens' perception of power completely. The human fleet split into multiple groups, each heading toward different points of the alien vessel. No weapons fired, yet every maneuver was purposeful. The aliens tried to respond, activating shields and scanning systems, but each human group anticipated their reactions, slipping past defenses with almost invisible precision. It was not luck. It was planning, intelligence, strategy. One human ship approached the alien ship directly, lights flashing in a sequence the aliens had never seen. The signals carried layers of information, hidden commands, and subtle warnings. The aliens tried to decode it, but it was too complex, too subtle, too human. One officer whispered, "It's a plan. They're showing us what they intend to do." The commander nodded slowly, unease settling deep in his mind. Suddenly, the humans executed the most daring move yet. Tiny drones, almost invisible, deployed from their ships and approached the alien vessel. Not weapons. Not bombs. Tools. Instruments that attached themselves to key systems, feeding back detailed information in real time. The aliens panicked, trying to remove them, but every attempt failed. The humans had anticipated the defense methods, countered them, and adapted on the fly. From Earth, scientists and military strategists watched with quiet satisfaction. They saw their calculations working perfectly. The humans weren't just reacting, they were shaping the battle, forcing the aliens into positions where their strength meant little, and their intelligence could not keep up. Every movement was deliberate, part of a plan only the humans fully understood. Inside the alien ship, tension was unbearable. Systems flickered, communications buzzed, and every officer felt the growing pressure. "They're controlling us," one muttered. "They're predicting everything." The commander remained still, eyes sharp. "No," he said finally. "They are not predicting. They are dictating the battle." The room went silent. The reality was terrifying. Humans were not just clever, they were dominant without lifting a weapon. Then came the first reveal of their secret. One of the human ships moved closer, releasing a concentrated pulse of energy. It wasn't destructive in the traditional sense, but it disrupted the alien vessel shields and communication networks temporarily, exposing vulnerabilities. The aliens scrambled to respond, but their movements were sloppy, delayed by the precision of human strategy. A murmur ran through the alien crew. "They've studied us. Every tactic, every system. They understand it," one said. The commander didn't respond immediately. He studied the screens, watching the humans execute move after move, each calculated to cause maximum disruption without unnecessary violence. It was elegance and danger combined. Meanwhile, the humans coordinated silently, each ship moving as if part of a single organism. They had rehearsed, calculated, and predicted the aliens' reactions with astonishing accuracy. Every strike, every pulse, every maneuver served a purpose. And all of it remained under human control, calm and deliberate. The alien commander's crystal eyes widened in shock. One human ship released a signal that caused multiple alien systems to shut down temporarily, not by force, but by exploiting the aliens' own reliance on technology. It was as if humans had rewritten the rules of engagement in real time, turning the aliens' strengths into weaknesses. And then came the final part of their plan, at least for now. The humans revealed a weapon unlike anything the aliens had seen. It wasn't a missile, a beam, or a bomb. It was a controlled chain reaction of information and energy, designed to disable key systems without harming life. A silent, invisible strike that left the aliens powerless to respond in the moment. They could see the humans approaching, anticipate some moves, but not this. It was genius. Inside the alien command chamber, panic spread. Officers shouted, systems alarmed, and the crew's coordination collapsed under the weight of human precision. The commander gritted his teeth, feeling the first taste of real fear. Humans were not just clever, they were unstoppable when united, fearless in execution, and deadly in strategy. The human ships pulled back slightly, leaving the alien vessel intact but shaken, systems partially disabled, confidence shattered. It was not destruction. It was a lesson. A warning. The aliens understood finally what the humans were capable of. And it terrified them. On Earth, the humans watched from their monitoring stations, calm as ever. They had achieved their goal. The aliens now realized that humanity was far stronger, far smarter, and far more unpredictable than anyone had expected. And yet, the humans had not revealed everything. Their full potential remained hidden, a secret weapon waiting for the next move. The alien commander finally spoke, voice low and almost reverent. "They are more than we imagined. They are dangerous." Officers nodded silently, fear in their expressions. The humans had not only survived, they had controlled the encounter, turned the aliens' assumptions against them, and revealed their own strength without firing a single destructive shot. As the night stretched on, the human ships disappeared into shadows, leaving the aliens to regroup and repair. But the lesson had been learned. Humans were unpredictable, intelligent, and fearless. They could control the battlefield without force, dominate without aggression, and strike in ways the aliens had never imagined. Somewhere deep in the alien minds, a terrifying truth settled in. They had traveled galaxies to study what they thought was a weak species. And now, they realized that humanity was not just strong, it was unstoppable in ways they could not yet comprehend. And for the first time, they understood that underestimating humans could cost them everything. The commander leaned back, staring at the blinking lights on his console. "We came to observe," he whispered. "But we are the ones being tested, and perhaps already defeated." A silence fell over the alien crew, broken only by the distant hum of human strategy echoing through space, unseen but undeniable. The alien ship floated in silence, its systems partially crippled, and its crew in shock. They had never faced a species like this. Humans had not attacked with weapons, yet the aliens were shaken, their confidence shattered. Every prediction they had made about humanity had failed. Every calculation was wrong. They were outmaneuvered, outsmarted, and, most frightening of all, outthought. From orbit, the humans watched carefully. Their ships moved with calm precision, like predators circling the edge of a forest, waiting for the right moment. There was no panic, no rash actions. Every movement was measured, every choice deliberate. The aliens did not realize it yet, but the humans were about to deliver the final lesson. Inside the alien command chamber, tension was unbearable. Officers shouted over one another, trying to regain control, but every attempt only led to confusion. "We cannot predict them," one screamed. "Every move is countered before we even act." The commander remained silent, scanning the reports, feeling a growing weight in his chest. For the first time, he understood something the aliens rarely admitted. They were facing a superior mind, a species whose strength was not in raw power, but in intelligence and unpredictability. The humans had not fired a single weapon yet. They had not needed to. Their control over the battlefield was absolute, subtle, and terrifying. And now, they were ready to show the aliens the full extent of their strategy. Small human ships moved into key positions, invisible until the last moment, blocking every escape route, anticipating every alien maneuver. It was precision, patience, and power all at once. The aliens tried to launch counterattacks, but their systems were already compromised from previous encounters. Energy pulses, microprojectiles, and probing drones, all neutralized by humans' calculated responses. Every action the aliens took seemed to play into human hands, as if the humans had predicted centuries of alien tactics before even stepping into space. Then came the human signal. Not simple lights, not sound waves, but a complex, layered communication that hit every system of the alien ship simultaneously. Instruments went haywire. Shields flickered. Communications failed. And the aliens could only watch as their defenses, carefully honed over generations, collapsed under human ingenuity. The commander clenched his hands. How is this possible?" he whispered. The answer was clear, terrifying, and impossible to stop. Humans were not just clever, they were unstoppable when coordinated, fearless in action, and unpredictable in thought. Every strategy the aliens had devised was already accounted for, countered, and turned against them. On Earth, humans observed silently. Their mission was not destruction, it was demonstration. They wanted the aliens to understand, to feel the intelligence and power of humanity without unnecessary violence. Yet every calculated strike, every controlled move, conveyed a simple truth: do not underestimate humans. They had survived against impossible odds, outsmarted a superior foe, and now, their mastery of the encounter was complete. The aliens attempted to regroup, forming new strategies and recalibrating systems. But the humans had already predicted this. Ships moved into positions that forced the aliens to respond slowly, cautiously, and always incorrectly. It was a dance of intelligence where humans led every step, and the aliens stumbled blindly in their wake. Inside the alien vessel, despair grew. Officers muttered about retreat, about negotiation, but even these options seemed futile. Humans had anticipated them all. The alien commander realized that surrender might be the only option if they wanted to survive. Yet pride, curiosity, and fear of the unknown kept them frozen. They had never faced a species so dangerous not because of strength, but because of thought itself. Then the humans revealed the final move. From multiple angles, their ships released energy pulses, perfectly timed and controlled. They disabled the aliens' engines, communication arrays, and defensive systems without harming a single life. The alien vessel was crippled, immobilized, and completely at the mercy of the humans' planning. It was a victory that required no destruction, no aggression, only intelligence, patience, and perfect execution. The alien commander stared at the screens, stunned. "We underestimated them," he whispered. "We assumed weakness, disorganization, and they have shown us our own mistakes." His crew was silent, each member processing the reality that humans were not just survivors, they were rulers of the encounter, masters of strategy, and creatures beyond prediction. From the human ships, signals went out, not aggressive, but clear and commanding. Humans could strike, control, or destroy, but they chose restraint. They had made their point. The aliens understood the lesson: humanity was not to be trifled with. Unpredictable, intelligent, fearless, humans had turned every expectation on its head. As the night stretched on, the aliens' fear settled into reluctant respect. They had seen the raw power of human thought in action, a force that did not require weapons to dominate. And as humans withdrew from immediate confrontation, leaving the aliens to repair systems and recover, the message was clear: this was not the end. Humanity's mastery of the encounter was complete, but its potential was limitless. The commander whispered to himself, voice tight with tension, "We came to observe, and we are the ones being judged. If we are not careful, our miscalculations could cost us everything." The truth was undeniable. The humans had not only survived, they had dominated, controlled, and demonstrated the full scope of their intelligence in a way no species before had ever done. Above Earth, human ships regrouped silently, their presence a warning and a promise. They had proven strength, strategy, and unity. The aliens had learned too late what it truly meant to face humans. And somewhere deep in the silent expanse of space, a simple thought echoed through the minds of those who had come to observe: humanity was a force beyond reckoning, unpredictable, fearless, and unstoppable. The stars seemed to shine brighter as humans returned toward Earth, not with triumph in their eyes, but with quiet confidence. The encounter was over, for now. Yet the lesson remained. Humanity had shown its true power, and the universe had taken notice. Aliens would speak of it for generations, but for humans, it was just another challenge conquered. Another reminder: when underestimated, humanity could become a force beyond imagination. The alien ship floated in silence, its systems crippled, its crew shaken. They had faced humans, and for the first time in their history, they understood what they were up against. Strength alone could not define a species. Weapons, fleets, and technology could be outmatched by something far more dangerous: intelligence, courage, and unpredictability. The humans had shown them all three. From orbit, human ships glided smoothly, silent but commanding. They did not attack. They did not celebrate. Their presence alone was enough to communicate one message: humans were in control, and the aliens had no choice but to respect the limits of their reach. The alien commander studied the screens, tension etched into every feature. He had underestimated a species before, but never like this. Humans were not just clever, they were unstoppable when united. The human strategy had been flawless. Every move anticipated, every counter considered, every weakness exploited without a single unnecessary shot fired. It was a demonstration of intellect over brute force, patience over aggression, and unity over disorganization. The aliens could only watch, powerless, as the humans executed the final stage of their plan. Small drones detached from human ships, moving with precision to repair and stabilize areas damaged in the encounter, ensuring no life was lost. The aliens realized, with a mixture of awe and fear, that humans' power did not lie in destruction, it lay in control. Humanity could dominate without killing. They could win without violence. That was the true terror. On Earth, civilians and scientists watched the sky, unaware of the full scope of the battle above. They saw flashes, movements, and anomalies, but the humans in orbit did not panic. Every pilot, strategist, and operator acted as one mind, a single organism of precision and confidence. They had not only won, they had demonstrated the full extent of human capability. The alien commander whispered, voice tight and low. "We came to observe, and we are the ones who were judged." He looked at his crew, fear and respect mingling in their expressions. They had seen strength, cunning, patience, and intelligence in action, and the lesson was clear: humans were not to be underestimated. Every assumption, every prediction they had made about humanity was wrong. Every calculation had failed. Humans moved carefully now, retreating toward Earth, leaving the alien ship intact but humbled. It was not mercy, it was confidence. They had shown their dominance without unnecessary violence. The alien systems flickered under the residual effects of human strategy, and the crew worked in silence, realizing that their pride and arrogance had been exploited at every step. The commander's mind raced. They had faced countless civilizations, countless conflicts, yet none had matched this. Humans were not just resilient, they were unpredictable, fearless, and able to control circumstances far beyond their apparent strength. It was an intelligence honed by survival, experience, and the ability to adapt faster than any machine could calculate. As humans returned toward Earth, they sent one final signal. Not a threat, not a warning, but a statement of fact. It said simply, "Underestimate us at your own risk." The aliens received the message and felt the weight of it deeply. Humanity had survived, outsmarted, and dominated without ever firing a lethal shot. The lesson was profound. Raw power could be neutralized by intellect, courage, and strategy. Inside the alien ship, the crew was silent. They had traveled across galaxies, witnessed empires rise and fall, and studied species capable of immense destruction, but none had matched humans. Not in unpredictability. Not in unity. Not in the fearless, relentless application of intelligence. The realization settled over them. They had come as observers, but they were leaving as students of a species far beyond what they had imagined. Back on Earth, humans landed their vessels silently, as if nothing had happened. The night sky returned to calm. Civilians noticed nothing, unaware that a species had been tested, measured, and proven unstoppable. And in that silence lay the most powerful message. Humans were not violent conquerors, they were strategists, thinkers, and survivors. A force that could be feared, respected, but never truly controlled. The alien commander transmitted a final message to their fleet. It was not defeat, not surrender, but acknowledgement. Humanity had shown them the cost of underestimation. The stars would remember this encounter. Stories would be told among alien civilizations for generations. Humanity's true power, its courage, intelligence, and unpredictability, had been revealed. And it would leave a mark on the universe long after the humans returned to their planet. On Earth, humans celebrated quietly, not in boastful triumph, but in recognition of what they had achieved. They had faced a superior force, one that expected weakness, and they had rewritten every expectation. They had proven that strength was not just in weapons, speed, or numbers. It was in intelligence, unity, and fearlessness. They had become an example of humanity at its highest, most cunning, most unstoppable form. The alien commander finally closed his eyes, knowing that the humans had won. Not by destruction, not by brute force, but by proving something far more important. Humans were not just survivors, they were rulers of encounters, masters of strategy, and unpredictable beyond measure. And the universe would never forget it. As the humans looked up at the stars from their planet, they knew this was only the beginning. They had shown their strength, their intelligence, their unity, and their courage. And somewhere, across the void, aliens would think twice before ever underestimating humanity again. The galaxy had learned a simple, undeniable truth. When humans faced a challenge, they did not just survive, they conquered, in ways beyond imagination, without ever firing a shot. And in that quiet, victorious night, humanity smiled, not because they had won a battle, but because they had reminded the universe of what it truly meant to be human. Unpredictable. Fearless. Unstoppable.